everybody. How are you guys today? It is another Sunday. Another Sunday. Hopefully, you guys are all doing good. We did go to our coffee shop today, and yeah, we had some fun. So let's see here. So yeah, you guys, it's played a little bit of Kill Team today, and it was Keegan versus D. He had his Necrons, and she had Harlequins. The Harlequins up close are pretty nasty little critters. Keegan, he went with his Necrons. For some reason, I don't. You always seem to be able to have almost too many Necrons. It's like you're outnumbered 2-1 with them. He can constantly keep putting 10 on there, which is everybody else seems to only have 5. That makes the Necrons disproportionate and difficult because they don't have as many wounds as everybody else, but they have plenty of wounds to begin with, and you never kill them. The re-rolls can bring them back, and they come back on like a 2. So coming back on a pardon me, on a 2 is just going to be, pretty damn simple. It's just going to keep it to the point where beating them is very hard to do. And yeah, so if you're going to play Kill Team, consider fielding yourself some Necrons. Just the reanimation protocol, spend the command point on that, I think is what he has to do. But that works out phenomenally well. They're way able to make a comeback, and so that makes them difficult. So there you go. Keegan won again today. That's the second round of the new Kill Team, and he's won 2 in a row. Like I said, it's pretty hard to fight when he's got so many. If there were 5 of them, like you have on everything else, then he wouldn't be able to accomplish that. But it's more or less, it's more or less a numbers game now. So if you have Necrons, then you're going to be good to go. So hello, you guys. I see a few of you at shows popping in there. But if you want to see something cool, look at this. It's my Frosted Fist coffee mug with coffee in it. So you'd be proud of me, Mythos. I'm putting it to use, man. So Frost and Fist are really good friends of ours. They have a really good channel. If you want to check them out, go ahead. Of course, they got their little link. There's something about the free breeding program and donations. I'm not sure what that is. So research that. But otherwise, there you go, Mythos. Showing off your merchandise, man. And it looks good. That's a cool cup. Nice looking logo on a nice black cup. And holds coffee. So, hey, what the hell else can you ask for? Yes, Mr. Evans, coffee, not paint water. Paint water, I guess I could, but that surtax for the free breeding program for $99.95 added to the cup, I don't want to put paint water in it. No, we're not really sure. I know that he takes quarters when he dances, and he suffered a few injuries. One of those old ladies threw like a roll of quarters or something. But I don't know. I think that's why Freak's the way Freak is. So it's all good. I like my coffee. They got a cool cup, so that's my little way of supporting them. And they're good guys. I enjoy their show. And a lot of times, sometimes I just get a chance to watch. I would advise if you do, on Friday nights, I think it's about 8:30ish, give or take a few minutes, depending on technical difficulties and whatnot. But that's usually about the time they're on Fridays. And yeah, it's a good show, man. Especially if you want to learn about 40K. Those guys know a lot. Far more than I do. I like the Kill Team aspect of Warhammer. It's a faster game because I just don't have a 2,000 or 3,000 point army anyways. And not that I wouldn't want to, just don't have, I don't have the time or the money for it. But he doesn't take them, Mr. Evans. They do bounce off him. Yeah, I heard. That's why every once in a while you see that bruise like above his eye there, or he's wearing a Band-Aid, or he's touched up with makeup. It's to keep going, sir. Yep. So I like those guys. They're good guys. So we have lots of fun. I've known them for quite a while, and yeah, it's all good. I've met actually a lot of cool people in the last couple of years, and I have no complaints. It's been pretty fun. It's nice to get to see people and meet them and see what's going on, and collect coffee cups because got to drink coffee out of them. So I'm surprised Keegan's not on, but he had fun today. He won, and I'm not sure what we're doing next week. You know, he said I think it's Necrons versus Orcs, and Orcs would be Clint's because I know Clint's Tau is not done. Hey, Mini Warmont, how are you, sir? I was just talking to Mr. Superfly here, Mr. Evans, and we were talking about the freak breeding program. So we're still not sure what's being bred, but once they start walking the earth, we'll know. We'll know then. Might be too late. So, Mini Warmite here. I'm waiting for you, sir, to do more of those Romans. I think that's cool if you can get a Colosseum like we've seen in other videos where these guys get, I want to say it's like a toy Colosseum, but it's a big Colosseum a couple of them had, and they ordered it. It's been a while back, but they were doing fights and gladiator fights and stuff like that, and it's kind of cool. So it'll be a neat setup, I think. I think that'd be a neat setup for you. So, and then the Roman soldiers are just going to look badass when you paint them up. They always did, you know, throughout history. They're just some bad-looking guys. So, yeah, that's cool. But yeah, man. So it was a pretty good day. We got Kill Team in, and hey, Mini Warmut, I got coffee in Mythos's mug here. So, not paint water. Not paint water. Oh, good Lord, there's Keegan. So what are you doing, Keegan? Still gloating over your win, which was a pretty good win. You held the points there, the objectives on Kill Team. So those Necrons are nasty in Kill Team, you guys. I mean, that reanimation is just going to drag it on and on. You just literally can't get rid of them. Or at least the way Keegan rolls a lot of fives. We'll have to check his dice. It's uncanny. So we'll have to see. Yeah, they would on target practice. Mini Warmite, you're right. I could probably take a slingshot and fling it. But, you know, I know you're teasing. I know. But yeah, it's a nice cup, so I wouldn't want to destroy it. Oh, okay. My mug is bulletproof? Maybe, Mini Warm-Up, maybe. I have to take it. If I go to the range, I don't think it would survive. But there you go. I can hold it up. I won't put paint water in it either. I actually have, well, I don't have it on the desk here, but it's a little mini espresso cup. So it's a little tiny coffee cup like this big, with a little handle. That I use as a paint for paint water. Yep. Just because it's fun. Not Necron proof. Yeah, it is. Necrons don't do good in fluid. They're metal. So if I pour the hot coffee on them, it'd probably short them out there, Keegan. They wouldn't know what to do with that. Oh, by the way, when you drop Dylan off, let him know that I'm doing this. So when he walks by the screen, he can wave to everybody. But yeah. Well, Necrons are nasty little guys. I don't know about it being living metal, though, Keegan. It's just metal they're living in, because the metal part's metal, right? They just have their consciousness transferred. We could do that to you. I bet Mini Warmite would help me hook up a machine to transfer your consciousness, Keegan. Maybe we could put it in like an automatic pencil sharpener or something. Like a heavy-duty machine like that. see where that gets you. But it was kind of nice earlier doing the live stream. Kaiser stopped by for a few minutes. I hadn't seen him for a while, so that's nice of him to show up. I know it's late there, so if you see this later, Kaiser, thank you. Strap him to a rocket and let him go? Yeah. We could do that, but the rocket's a bit expensive, sir. A little bit. A little tiny bit expensive. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah. We got to see if that's finished processing because I don't know why, like I said 100 times, YouTube just, it wants to, anytime we do anything, it wants to make it private. Oh, it's still processing, yeah. Ugh. Okay, so our coffee shop show still says it's processing. It's not ready to be used yet, which is too bad. But it's fun to go to the coffee shop, so that's why we do it. It's a little bit of a different place. It's quiet, and they have coffee, and they have coffee. That's primarily why we go. Or different versions of it, so it's all good. Let's see here. Check up on the chat. Yep. So that's where that's at. During the week, I have been busy with my table over here. Doing all sorts of little finishing touch-ups to some of the marines, some highlighting some details and things that I guess I don't have to do. I just kind of want to. So as long as I had them out, I'm doing some finishing touches. And I had to wait. I had to get some dark Reaper paint that Citadel has, so that I'll use that on there to highlight, like on the Black Templars. But I'll tell you what, doing these Black Templars mini warm-up, you ever have paint that is like chalk? It just really annoys me, that Ulthurian gray or whatever it is. It doesn't have a good finish when you put it on. Like I don't think I would even want to use it again on Black Templars. I might have to find a different type of paint. It just, even though it's Citadel paint, normally Citadel paint's good, no matter how much you mix it, it doesn't finish smooth. It finishes rough. We'll keep brush strokes in there too. I just don't care for it. It's really hard to move around, especially on the shield, even with teeny tiny brushes and magnifying glass and stuff. It's a pain. Yeah, I probably would need to add a medium to it, I guess, and break it down. But since it's the primary color on the shoulder pads, shields, and other things on the Black Templars as their color scheme, you'd think you wouldn't need to. The paint out of the bottle should apply the way it's supposed to. And you have to do 2 or 3 coats, which is even harder because getting in the detail around on the shields is a pain to begin with anyways, in these little tiny crevices. And then to do it 2 or 3 times, then you end up, it makes it more frustrating. So I don't, as much as I like the Black Templar paint scheme, and I think they look cool, I probably just won't do any more than that group of 5. And that way I've got a little squad of them. But it's just not panning out the way I'd like it to. So we have to figure out something. But yeah, maybe putting a medium in it might work, I guess. You recommend one? Do you got a good medium that you use for the paint? Because I haven't had to use any so far. With the Citadel stuff, it usually goes on the way it's supposed to. But at some point, yeah. So I've gotten more gaming stuff done. I do want to do these. You're doing the Romans, so I still want to do this box I got at that auction back in Missouri there, of the German horsemen, Germania horsemen, because these should be pretty neat. But I don't have any colors really for the horse, so looks like they have a gray horse and tan horses, but it will be interesting to do those. Oh, okay. So is that what it's called? Is it just Hobby Lobby medium? I mean, is that it? Is it just like the store brand? Um, so if it is a store brand, I have a Hobby Lobby not too far from me. I'll probably check that out tomorrow and see, because it's getting a bit frustrating, and it shouldn't be, because when I paint, I want it to be relaxing. Other than if I make a mistake, that's my fault. But it's just really difficult to work with. It. Ah ha ha, Keegan! Stop horsing around with the horses and paint them. Um, I'm not really horsing around with them. I haven't built them yet. It comes with everything. I'm just trying to finish up one thing before I start another, because I've already got myself into where I'm doing different things. And then before you know it, the table is filled up and you've got a lot to do. So, okay, a mate medium. All right. Thanks, Mini Warmut. I will write that down and I'll grab me a piece of paper here. Liquitex medium or flow medium. Okay. That might make a big difference, because maybe I can, if it flows better, then it would be much easier to paint in and around all the other stuff. And granted, you're going to do the shield first because you're going over the top of all the other stuff, but still, you want to be smooth. At least I do. So I'm gonna get some of that just for that and try it. And I don't know, how much do you generally put in? Let's see, where's the pot? It's just a standard little mini pot, but it's a thick pasty paint. So anyways, if you have an idea about how much I'd add, a drop or two, or I don't know, I'll just add a little and see what happens. I don't want to get too runny. But having it work out would be a good deal, because like I said, otherwise it's just becoming a problem. So I'm trying to get those projects finished, which are taking me time, because the only time I have the time to do it is in the evenings. So fortunately, I've been able to do a little bit of things several times a week. So I am getting through my piles of stuff and putting them in boxes and getting it done. I guess the next thing I need to do is at some point try to get some better storage. Start off with a drop. Okay, I will do that. I'll pick some up at Hobby Lobby and I'll let you know how it goes, because yeah, I just want to do something. I mean, I like the color scheme, but geez, it's just a pain to use that. So I appreciate that, man. So we'll do that. We will give that a shot and see. Otherwise, we got that game in, and some more podcasts we put up, and just get a few more things going on. And I've still got to upload that video, Keegan, that we took out there. I forgot the other day. I picked up my camera and like, oh my God, I've got video in there that needs to go up, that we took while we were driving out there to Missouri, or on the way back. One of them, I think it was on the way back, and we were just talking about the stuff. So I get that up too, because that was pretty fun trip, and looking forward to doing it again next year for sure. Which the other Brian from Weird World War II, I think, was gonna upload some stuff too from his show. I think is this weekend. Okay, Mayworm, go spray your zombies and your Romans. Go for it. And no, Keegan, you wouldn't have to ask me if I had it uploaded if you were paying attention to the channel, huh? Gotcha. It might make people dizzy. It depends on how much you move the camera around while we were talking. So, yeah, I can do that though. That needs to go up too. Because that camera, it takes beautiful video. I like it, but yeah, we'll get that done. Other than that, man, we're fairly steady on getting gaming stuff done, and we're getting in more and more games. So it's easier to do our gaming now. There's some speaking of gaming, I know Mini Warm-Up builds a lot of cool terrain. I've built some, just not as cool as his. But I did get some roads for the 15 millimeter that I found on eBay, so I ordered some of those, and I think that's going to make a difference. Some roads, a river crossing and a river, because it gives us a little bit more, like for water terrain, something we don't generally have, and that will be fun. I did find a really cool desert fort terrain for like flames of war and tanks and stuff like that, but that's a bit pricey just for that set. It's worth it. It looks like it's a complete desert fort already done, and it looks really nice. It would hold quite a bit of an army in there. It would make good for objectives and stuff, but I don't have to wait to get that one. Now, the one thing I did order and find is a World War II radar station. It's an MDF radar station. Um, you got to put it together, but it's kind of cool because I think I'd make a really cool objective, like a domination type of objective where you're going to hold that objective or something to that effect, or you've got to try to destroy it, or maybe it's the first one to get to it, whatever. But I think it can be used multiple different ways, and a lot of those radar towers are still in use today, so I don't see why you couldn't use it for, World War II and some of the other wars after that also. It would still fit in. So I thought that was just a unique little piece of terrain, something I don't have. So I did spend a couple bucks this week on getting some terrain just to add to it so we can do more armor battles, because at the core that's what we were gaming a lot. We did do Star Wars X-Wing the other day, so my son Dylan, my nephew Mason, and my son Dylan's girlfriend Brittany, they gamed, and Brittany's never played a tabletop game, and so she really liked it. It was a pretty good deal, and she's going to be a good player at it, so she'll get in there and beat some butts on that one, and that's good. Anytime your significant other is into gaming with you, it's just going to be easier for you because you have support then with that. But for sure, it was a fun thing yesterday to do. So I know Mini Warmutt's working on his Romans. I don't know, is Mr. Evans still there or not? Um, but yeah, everybody's got a lot of games that they're into, and for me, it's quite interesting. I like learning different games. I've got a couple different game rules now that I've got to try to get down. Like that Fistful of Lead is nice, and fairly easy to play. But for me, I'm starting to learn. I think it's almost too many different rules, and so at some point, you kind of just have to stop and go, you know what, I'm at this point here, and that's it for now. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to take on any more rules or any other kind of rules at this point. I've got enough I've taken on with, and I'm excited about doing the Fistful of Lead stuff. And that's the next thing I'm doing is I'm trying to get my Warhammer miniatures done so that I can get on my Fistful of Lead miniatures and try to do something with them. Just because I like to paint them. I can still play them without being painted, but it's just more fun. And that'll be the next thing I want to work on. There's only 5 of them. That way I can get them done. I did pick up, I'll show you this one. Where did it go? Aha. Okay, so here's one I got at the game store the other day because I took my granddaughters to our local game store, and they picked out some animal miniatures, the Bones Reaper miniatures they like. And then, of course, they needed a bottle of paint for it. So before I knew it, it ended up costing me more than what I went in there for. But I found this little guy here. And, I think it will work just fine. So price-wise, $3. So, and that's a cowboy miniature. He's got a machete in one hand and a revolver in the other. Looks like a shotgun on his back. So he's pretty armored, and a lasso. So he's pretty armored up. And I think that'll work out just fine. He's already on a base. So, good to go. Just got to paint them up. So there's another option too for getting some miniatures, is just if you're going to use independent rule sets and stuff, then you can kind of use whatever you want. And I like the Western themed stuff. You know, I mean, I like sci-fi stuff too, but if I'm going to try something different, I'll probably throw the Western theme in there. So that'll work with the Fistful of Lead stuff. And the Mini Warm-Up wants to do a Gladiator Coliseum thing, so we'll do that. And we'll have some fun, you know, because that's what gaming's about. But there you go, you guys. That's it. That's what Greg's got accomplished this week. Actually, quite a bit. I'm almost done with what I started out to do. And the one and only Necron I did, I think I showed you guys before, and I finally finished it up. Got the skull done that he's standing on. And it came out really good. And this is just for the one-on-one demonstration. And so that map that come with that magazine, I did laminate it. And we'll use that when we go around to show people how to play. You just got one figure on each side. So 2 figures, the map, and dice. It's really easy to move around and really easy to take. And that is something that will help to teach other people too. Well, I'm glad you're back there, Mini Warmut. I just was talking about that little cowboy figure I got from the Bones, the Reaper Bones collection. Well, it's actually their Chronoscope one, but he's the cowboy. He's got a machete with a revolver and a lasso on his side. So he's pretty armored up, and I think he'll be a good character I can use in like the Fistful of Lead rules. And at $2.99 or $2.49, they're not expensive at all to get these little figures that you can just do whatever with, and that would be cool. But he's got a shotgun on his back, so the guy's armored up 3 ways. So that would give you a choice of weapons to use right there. Indiana Jones. Yeah, it's not Indiana Jones though. His name it's Frank Buck, but it may as well be Indiana Jones. He's got the shotgun on the back. He's got the revolver. He's got the whip lasso. It looks like, well, it's a whip actually. And then he's got a machete. So 1, 2, 3, 4 weapon choices on a figure for $3. So why not? That'll work. I can add that to the other ones and give him different. Nope, no primer needed on that, I don't think. And some of the Reaper Bones they're pretty nice figures. You know, I mean, they're not crap figures. So especially some of the bigger ones that you can get if you want to get just like standalone models, or you want an orc or a giant or something for your battlefield. There's things like that, but I don't think I'm going to have to primer him. Although all my stuff, I still try to primer in that gray I showed you before, just because you can put almost anything on top of gray and you're good to go. And at least for the Warhammer miniatures, it has worked phenomenally well for me and really made the detail stand up and gives you a good undercoating. And that Citadel paint just adheres to it like crazy. So, yeah. But I don't know if you'd have to necessarily do that for this one. I think this one would be okay. But yeah, so that's it. I'm coming to the end of getting those done. We're still going through terrain that Keegan bought at that auction there, Mini Warmut. I've asked him to get a tote, Keegan. If you're listening to this, which I don't think he is, he needs to grab a tote though, because there's just stacks of it. And some of the other stuff that he printed out, I'm just doing basic coats too, like this here. You know, I don't know, you maybe can't see it that well. But, you know, just to spiff up the terrain, just to spiff up the house a little. And that's all. Not just some basic painting like paint the roof and window trims. Is just so that the house stands out a little bit on the map is all. Another one I'm doing too, but I'm going to darken up, put some shade on it, is the brown. I did the roof and then I did some backwash on it to make it, the roofing tiles darker. Where's Keegan? I'm not sure where he's at anymore. He's out walking the dogs. He said he knows better. We have a show, but it's okay. So these are starting to come along pretty good for the Team Yankee, and that's what those were originally designed for. So that's we're getting that down, and that way we have more terrain for modern war too. Um, so I can't really show you on here, but I did come across uh, like a generic. I want to say it's a could be Warhammer or any other sci-fi kind of a map. That's pretty neat for $20 that I picked up a while back, and I'll have to show you guys that too because I thought why not? It's not really it's I don't know what it is. It's I want to say not your traditional vinyl. It's thicker and heavier. Um, and it lays flatter. So, but it's kind of in the future type thing. So you could use it for any sci-fi thing, anything that's running 28 to 32 millimeter stuff. You're gonna be good in that scale there. I think it'd be just fine. So yeah, just interesting things, and I just want to try to get caught up so my table doesn't stay too cluttered and get gaming in. So next week again, it's going to be this time Clint. I think against Keegan. Keegan's 2 for 2 now on that kill team because he keeps using that regeneration ability. So as long as he has that, he's going to be able to do something. Yeah, Brian is at the show in Texas. Yes, he is. I was waiting for him to do a live or something. I was going to talk to him during the week, and I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I don't see any notification of him uploading anything, so I don't know if he got busy just gaming, or I'll have to find out from them what's going on and see what's happening. See notifications, yeah. I haven't seen any notifications from him in the last couple of days, so I don't think he's gone live or anything like that. So we'll have to see. I'll have to get a hold of him and see what's what, and see how the show out there went. And as more shows come up, then we're going to be going to more and more of those too. So that will be fun. Oh, next week I guess it's going to be Orcs versus the Space Marines. I think. I'm sorry, I thought it was going to be Necrons, but hey, Taylor, how are you, sir? Enjoying the good life out there in Paris? Having another steak dinner and just stopping in to say hi to us peasants. Is that it? So Taylor's a good guy there too. So glad to see you show up, Taylor. We're just chit chatting, or it's mostly just me chit chatting. So, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Brian and Mel on their show, how that all transpired and what went down, and I'm sure he'll have a video or something he'll put up. And so there you go. But you, Mini Warmut, you're going to be out there at the next Wiley one, right? Next year. So I'll get to meet you anyways. Keegan, I might let him out of the trunk if he's good. I did let him out to stretch once on the walk, and then at the rest stop, he tried running all over looking for the candy machines, and he was really disobedient. So, yeah, can't trust him. Yep, he's at that con for sure, Taylor. Are they doing any of those out there in Canada where you're at? I mean, I don't know what's going on in Canada other than what the news says, and half the time what the news says counteracts what people are uploading. So I don't know what's going on out there. But if you got game conventions, if you have a chance to go to, that would be cool for you to do, for sure. I don't know if they'll let me in the border or past the border of Canada, but we'll find out. Should just show up and say, hey, I'm here. I want to do a show on how easy it is. Oh, you haven't had nothing for 3 years? What? Wow, that sucks. I guess I understand with all the fear over the 2 years ago, but They should have had something there for you now. All these other things have dropped everywhere. So that's too bad, Taylor. Um, those conventions are pretty nice. They're kind of cool to go to. This one that we went to in Missouri was just at like the VFW lodge. It was not this massive convention, but there was a lot of tables and the people were cool and it was a good time and the auction was nice. Um, oh, they usually do it out there in March, Taylor says. Well, so they don't have different conventions throughout the year, just kind of like one thing, one time a year. Oof. Um, maybe one of the game companies needs to get out there and stir it up and do something because I bet at this rate, any kind of convention would draw a crowd, right? So whoever opens that convention up is going to make some money. At least stands the reason because for every one person that won't go, there's going to be two or three that are like, yeah, I'm going. I would do that. Closest to you? Okay. Yeah, unfortunately here it's just the opposite. There's so many and it's like, okay, what one to go to because everybody's doing them now. So they're kind of everywhere. They have some big ones in Chicago, which is just about 4 hours from here also, 3 hours, 4 hours. Um, or if we just cross the border into Illinois, it's about 2 hours. So some areas have them, but other than the one that we had in town, usually everything's like 2 to 5 hours away for us to drive. So that's the only hindrance there. Otherwise, yeah, we plan on going to a few more and try to find local ones. Actually, looking into a place here like City Hall, we were just kicking around the idea of they have their own like rec center room where you can have, I think it's 120 people. So I was thinking of maybe just do one, put some free advertising out and get people to show up and then they could just display their tables and just do a little get together there and see what they say. So I was going to talk to the people at the city. I know several of them anyways. So I think it might be kind of fun to do and just do our own little get together and see what we can stir up. Because why not? Who says you can't? You may as well. So that I think would be something to definitely we should look into for sure. And oh, Mini Warmut says he had one in March called Desert Wars and he just found out about it a couple days ago. Oh, those are, see, I hate that when you're notified after it's over. Yeah, because then at that point, there's nothing you can do about it, because it's over and you've missed it. So I think I'm just going to try and maybe get something here locally done, maybe in the summertime, where people have a chance to know it's coming. So I'll let you guys know. That's an idea I'd come up with, and we'll see where that goes. I don't think it would be a problem really in our area. I just go around to the local hobby stores and set up some flyers if I'm going to do that. Let people know and have them come in. I think that'd be really kind of cool thing. Maybe we could have Mini Warmut fly out here and oversee it for us so we don't screw it up. At least that'd be a good excuse for you, Mini Warmut. Taylor could come too if he wants. But yeah. So far, it's the end of the week, and it's been a pretty good week so far. Gaming-wise, getting things accomplished, and that's nice because you guys know it's like some weeks you want to get things done, but you just can't do anything. The week goes by. Yeah, maybe I could go out there to Arizona. Do you want me to bring Keegan? I could. Well, everyone's asking you to go here and there, Brian, because you're popular. See, you're looking at it wrong. No, your summers aren't that bad. I mean, maybe an occasional steering wheel melts in the car and people die from heat stroke, but you know, than 110 degrees and a dry heat at 7 a.m. in the morning. It's not that bad. You're right. It's not that bad if you have air conditioning. Yeah, that's true. Um, Maybe we could hold it in Flagstaff. That wouldn't be too far of a drive for you, would it? Oh, Minnie Wormut's right. You're right. Maybe we could even wrap up some burritos in some tinfoil and throw them on the dash, and they can cook for us too. Literally, I mean, no joke. When I worked in Phoenix, it was so hot at 7 a.m. It was ridiculous, and people were putting up the shade things in the car because your steering wheel literally gets soft. It gets so hot in the car. It was insane. So, yeah, and you could bake cookies on the dashboard. And I know you're serious. I've seen people do videos from out there where literally throw eggs on the sidewalk and fried them. They didn't eat them, of course. They were just showing you how hot it was to fry an egg. So I don't see why you couldn't do a baked good. The inside of the car would be like an oven. You certainly couldn't be in the car unless the AC was on. But yeah, air conditioning is key out there, though. So I'll bet your Havoc guys get pretty good money, and they're always busy because I see things breaking down out there a lot with that kind of sustained heat and stuff. So kind of like out here, the Havoc guys are busy on the heat end during the winter because it gets cold and things break with that too. So yeah, I know it's no joke. The heat out there is a bit much. Now here, it'll be hot, but it's the humidity that gets you. You like open the door and you're like, you gotta catch your breath because you're breathing like moisture, and it gets difficult some days. Well, they'll put a heat index warning out for cattle, but they're like, your people worried the cows will fall over dead, but you're good. You're good to go. We just don't want the livestock to die because they're worth more than you as a person, you know. And that's kind of funny to see those warnings go up, but then they still want you to work outside anyways. And yeah, it's you have your days, I guess, wherever you live, but you'd be all right. So, well, maybe we'll have to figure something out there, Brian, a way to get out there. So I'm all for that, man. I like going new places and checking things out. It's a little bit of fun, and that's how you get to meet people and check out the other things. So I have to look into more conventions out here in this area because I'd like to hit up a few more during the summer now that things are back to where they're open. The only drawback is the gas price, but if it costs you an extra $20 and it costs you an extra $20, not much we can do about that. I wish I had the power to lower gas prices, but I don't. So, um, just not much you can do about that. Ugh. But anyways, you guys, it's been a good week so far. So, Minnie Wormut, you guys need to check out his channel, and you need to check out Taylor's channel, and you need to check out the rest of the people like Modeling for Advantage and Weird World War II and Frosted Riffs and um, Wardrobe. Todd has a channel. All these people that come by and say hi, they all have channels, and so just go check them out. I know the guys, you guys here seeing this already know them, but people watch these videos once I put the links in Facebook and stuff. So if you're watching it after the fact, then go check their channels out too, or you'll see them on the channels that I'm subscribed to, because they're all pretty good people and everybody's pretty nice. So see what they got to say. And Brian, Mr. Minnie Wormut, I'm interested in looking at those Romans when you get done. Romans were always really cool miniatures, I thought, and they were something I was looking at before I ever met you. And I'm curious to see how they look when you've got all of them all done, because I think it's going to look pretty cool. And other than that, you guys, it's been a pretty cool week, but I think I've already been at it almost an hour, so I might go ahead and wrap it up. I've got to get dinner going and get a few things done, and you're going to try Hail Caesar's rules, but who makes the Hail Caesar's rules? Is it the Sons of Mars? Or is that a different rule book? Because I don't have, I guess what I want to do, like these SPQR figures, these are good. These are cool. So I might get some Romans and just see if I can do skirmish or warlord games. Okay. I'll have to see because I want to find a simple rule and maybe just get some Romans in an opposing army. Pick one of the armies that they opposed and do a small scale fight. It doesn't have to be no large grand thing, but just would be kind of interesting if you just had a small group on each side, just once in a while for change of pace, you know. But yeah, that I guess that'd be another rule system too. So it's not like you have heavy machine gun fire to suppress the enemy back then. So there are tons of games for ancients. Yeah, I bet there are. I'll bet there are. I'm sure there's a lot of rules to choose from. So I'd have to do that. I'll have to do that many more months. One more thing to add to the list, but I'm glad you're doing the Romans. I really think that's a cool time frame too. And the Romans were just a badass army. They were violent, I mean, they weren't necessarily good, nice people, but when they went out to fight, they went out to fight. There wasn't none of this dinging around with stuff. So one of the games will make it easy. Yep. Well, there you go. So there's going to be rules somewhere I can find for it, and it's just a matter now of organizing games. So trying to get with Keegan and Clint on schedules is a little difficult sometimes because it'd be good. And I know many more. You said, yeah, go do it solo. I could. It's just more fun for me to game with other people, but I could try to do a solo game. I don't know how. I don't know if people would watch it or get bored or not. I mean, I'd do more of this is the turn, this is the turn. I could do that, shorten it up. But I haven't really ever had a chance where I'm left alone for 2 hours to sit there and set something up and go through it and narrate it. That way I can edit it. Because generally I'm pretty busy after work anyways. And, yeah, the next game I think Mini Warmutt, I thought it was going to be the Necrons, but I was rereading Keegan's post. Is my mistake. I think it's going to be the Space Marines against the Orcs. That's the only army that Keegan has at this time. And it's just the Greenskins are going to get out. They're going to be out there. So it'll probably going to be my Space Marines against Clint's Orcs. So yeah, it should be good. That's what we're going to do. And because this new kill team is nice in the sense that the way the rules are done, it's not a tedious, long, drawn-out game. And with 4 turns, it's not necessarily about eliminating all the enemy players. It's more about, did you capture the objective, hold the objective, take it, whatever the scenario asks. With Keegan's Necrons, the regeneration protocol is just nasty because you're not really eliminating that. And he has an uncannily high way of, I don't know how he rolls so many high numbers all the time, but he does. Oh, no, we don't Mini Warmutt. You said, so let everybody know. You have a huge 40K Orc army. That was your first army ever, huh? Well, and you've got the Dark Angels. Okay. But on your Orcs, so do you got any of the bigger equipments and like the vehicles and stuff? That'd be cool. Share some pictures of that in the group if you'd like. The Orcs that, oh man, this was a while back, last year, so you may not have seen it, but I'm trying to see exactly offhand where that box is, but Ashley was at work one day, and this guy brought in a box because he was watching her every day when she worked at this one hotel. She would be painting her miniatures at the front desk. So this guy came in and asked her what she was doing, and she told him, well, next day he brought in a box of orcs, all from late 80s and early 90s. I mean, a ton of them. And these things are like, almost 30 years old. But they're look brand new. They're sitting on the bases with the dates and all that stuff. And he tried to paint some of them, which it looks like he sprayed them with some kind of gloss. So you have to go over them and redo them. But these are all orcs from a long time ago, and quite a few. Like, I was just looking around on eBay and looking at the figures. I'm like, man, they're around $5-9 a figures, probably $300 of the figures that this guy just said, here you go. I don't want them. You can have them. So it's a pretty nice little box of orcs that, and they need to be gone through, I think, and painted up so that they can be used too. Okay, so 7th edition. Yeah. Well, see, the thing with Warhammer is, and hopefully the people who love Warhammer don't kill me, I think it can be made much simpler. Now, when you make a complicated rule system or what, it's not complicated once you use it and get it down. So they're going to go, oh, it's not complicated. But if you're brand new to it, you're like, what? And it could just be simpler and faster. And that's this new kill team. Clint brought up a valid point. He's like, wouldn't be surprised, Greg, if this isn't the way a 10th edition will be, because it's faster, it's more straight to the point, it's not as complicated, and you can make these rules overbearingly, trying to cover every little single aspect of every little thing. But then that builds pride in it too. You've remembered all this under every circumstance. So you got people who are experts, and they're very proud of it. They should be. They've learned a ton of stuff to remember. But when you're trying to bring a new person into the hobby, or you've had a ton of rules to deal with, you have to have enough background to figure out how the rules apply. And if you don't, geez, something like Warhammer is like dipping somebody in a pool upside down and holding their feet. Simpler rule systems are better, and I think it can be much more to the point. It's about killing the other guy. That's all it's about. Whether it's a grenade or a plasma rifle or a bolter or an energy sword or whatever you're going to do your damage with. But it should be, a little bit simpler. There's just flat out simpler things you can do. And so we'll have to see. But yeah, keeping it simple for the gaming is the way it should be. I mean, especially when you've got hundreds of miniatures on the table, and some of these fights they do, and while it's amazing to look at and watch, it can become long and drawn out too. So simpler rules for the games, I think, are better for anyone getting into it. This is why I like games like Wings of Glory. It's World War I planes already painted on bases. You can fly them around on the table. It's as simple as shooting down the next guy. But it also has advanced settings, so you can take damage to the pilot, damage to the plane. You can make it a far more advanced game system, but the core basic part of it was, here you go, you're just going to sit down at the table. It's something that adults and kids will like. It's straightforward, it's to the point, and you're not trying to go, what do I do in this situation? What do I do in that situation? The rules aren't clear. It's gray. Nope. It's to the point. So that is one game I like to get people to try to play, and I have, and the kids like that, because it's engaging. You can get in there and go after the other person, and it's straightforward. And that's, you guys have heard me mention this stuff a lot, because that's just what I believe. It's my opinion is the easier the better. Especially the hobby is like, it's like the golden era of tabletop gaming. Never have I ever seen so many options for miniatures and gaming just explode on all these levels. It's too much almost. Like it is too much. So you went from few options to more than you can handle options. And the detail on the miniatures these days, because of the way they can, do their injection molding and the way they do things, that's just far more detailed than they've ever been before. So I think it's a pretty amazing time for tabletop gaming in literally any aspect from any time period. And but rules need to catch up with the time. People will gladly sit, and I don't know why. They'll sit for 7 or 8 hours playing a video game, but they'll tell you the first thing they'll tell you is, "I don't got 2 hours to play at the table." You know what I mean? But they will on video games. So when it comes to the tabletop, well, yeah. And so what do you say here, Mini Warm-Up? So, but the board game has miniatures. So if you've got a game that corpses for zombies, incorporates your miniatures in a board game, then there's two aspects people love right there, right? And then if you throw in cards and dice, you're kind of covering all the bases. And so um, being strategic on your move is always part of almost any game, but being straightforward, the gameplay is faster and it's easier to pick up. It's more engaging. It moves along. Like you were saying today, Mini Wormwood, on our thing, well, basically just play. Well, we were playing, but then you get into discussions on what you're doing because some of the stuff you're trying to figure out, and that's going to happen with any game. But Zombicide is something that's pretty interesting to me. I wouldn't mind doing that. I just already have so much that I can't really keep up with what I got. So as long as the rules are simple and straightforward, then that's what I think it needs to be. But and I agree with you on that. That's how you get people into the hobby too. I mean, so the long, complicated, long, drawn-out turns and do this and do that. That's by the time it takes you 10 minutes to do a maneuver, you're just losing interest. So some games, just because of that, I've seen before. I've watched people play them. Like I don't really have the time for that kind of stuff. So it's much better to do it that way. And enough said, without repeating myself. So. Yes, I believe we could too, Ryan. If you want to get us involved in a Zombicide game, you can. The way we did it last time works, and now that I figured out what was wrong with my stuff, I can do that too if you want. So it doesn't really matter, but the way you played it, it'll work. So I don't see anything wrong with that. So let's try to do another Fistful of Lead in a couple weeks or something so that we get that gameplay down a little bit. Maybe do a Zombicide game after that or whatever you would like to do. I just wouldn't mind doing the Fistful of Lead one more time because I really don't remember all of it. And at the convention, I was doing a lot of the holding the camera and trying to live stream. So I didn't really get to hear every single thing that was going on. So it was quite involved the way everybody was doing things. So it's not the same as playing it. And I'm more of a visual person. Like if I play it, or it's just like if I drive somewhere once, I know. Yeah, that's fine then. The Western one would be just fine. That's the figures I bought from Wiley Games were all Western. That's what they had to sell. So that's what I picked up at the time. And I mean, that's fine with me too. And I know you got some cool Western terrain you've done, Mini Warm-Up, which would look really good. So you know me enough to know it's about gaming. If I win, cool. If I don't, cool. I just want to game and get the rules down. Everybody likes to win, but it's not a requirement for me. Boom, done. Okay. Boom, done. Now let's do that. You have really nice Western stuff that you can show off, and give me maybe at least a week because I want to try to do something with painting those guys. I don't have to. We don't have to have them painted. I just prefer it. Yep. Find out when. You have a work schedule, so you let me know what's convenient. Why don't you set it for 2 weeks out? That'll give you a chance because you're in the middle of doing your Romans thing, so don't let it interfere with any of your Roman stuff at all. Get that done first, and then we can do that. That'll give me time to paint some of these guys. And hello, Mythos. Can you answer in the chat, or can you see this broadcast at all? Just say yes or no. If you can see it, let me know. because I want to show you something. It'll be soon. Okay, May. That'll work. That'll work. All right, Mythos, if you can see, here you go. I showed your mug off earlier. I even have coffee I've been drinking out of it. So I pitched your merchandise for you, sir. See? Nice cup. And it looks awesome. So there you go, man. I introduced and started the show off with that so people know. And then they are nice mugs. I like the design. It looks really good, sir. So, yeah, Mini Wormut, Mythos is saying hi. And so, okay, Brian, whatever. Yeah, my cup is bulletproof. You're right. You're right. Matter of fact, for some reason, when it's empty, I don't know what the deal is, but I wrote Freak's name on a piece of paper and taped it to the cup. I went back to work. I come back after the shift, and it had quarters in it. Like, I'll have to ask Mythos how that happens. But anyways, yep. Yeah, it's bulletproof. Yes, sir. So, yeah, we can do the game. May's not that far away. That's coming up shortly. We're already, almost halfway through the month already. So we can do that, and I'm all for that because I'd like to go through the book one more time and try to see about just doing a little bit of painting on those figures and use them. Plus, I got to remember to go to the site and do the PDF thing so I can print my cards out on that and get that going. You had an experiment on the strength of coffee cups between Frost and Fist and mine. Oh my God, you said, well, so what happened to my cup then? Brian, you probably knocked it off and dropped it on. But yeah. So yeah, and I gotta drink coffee anyway, so I will start just here and there picking mugs up from other people that got them too, and why not? It kind of helps spread along this. I know, Mini Wormut, but what can I say? Mine fills up with quarters. No one at target practice could break it. I haven't taken this out to the range yet, but being how it has the word frost on there, it might just freeze anything. It's like got a freeze ability to it. So it'll just freeze the bullets when they hit, and then they can't do nothing. I don't know if I want to shoot the cup. I like it. So and plus I drink coffee, so yeah. It's okay. I think Freak charges a little bit too much for his Freak breeding program donation, but what can I say? Somebody's got to pay that donation money. It's got to work. Captain American shield. There you go, Mini Wormut. I'll just go down to the local police department and say, hey, guys, check out this coffee cup. If your officers buy it, it's bulletproof. But I have no liability. But you could try holding it up in a gunfight and see what happens. Just a release of liability would probably be a good thing for me at that point. Yeah. Oh, Lordy. But yeah, you missed a little bit there, Mythos. So me and Brian are going to do another Western game. We could do one too if you want, Mythos, at some point. And I'm going to be on Kaiser's show there next month. And I guess we have to do it over this because for some reason the UK doesn't let me in. Now, I agree with you there, Mythos. Holy cow. If you can throw it at an enemy and it comes back, what if we bounce it off the enemy? Like, just clock them hard enough that the cup bounces back to you. That's what we could do. I'll go get some of that, that liquid rubber you dip the tools in will dip the bottom of the coffee cup in it, just around the edges. That way it will bounce off whatever it hits. It can fly back. Of course, if it hits me and knocks me out, then that would be a problem. Yeah. But, I don't know about that, Mythos. Um, because I've been on their show before. I actually subscribed to them back when they had about 100 people. And it's just been a while since I've been on their show because they've had all these other people on. So, and half the time, because of the time difference, it's hard. It's hard for me working wise to catch their live show. It's not that I don't want to. I usually catch it after the fact. It's hard for me to do. A howling noise, huh? I made a howling noise. There you go. Could use that to set an alarm clock, huh? Like a coffee cup with a built-in alarm clock. That would be cool. We could do that maybe. But yeah. Yep. I just wanted to let you know, Mythos, that it looks good and I've been showing it off for you. And it actually holds the coffee without leaking. So that's a plus. But yeah, it's been fun. Been a fun week. So got a bunch done, almost done with the stuff on my table, and that's progressing pretty well. It's just me being kind of picky about like if I'm going to put it back, not touch it, if I'm going to do this and that, and yeah. By the way, Brian, thank you for the suggestion on the medium for the paint. I will try that. Your volume down and see what the wife says. Sure, absolutely. Because you never know what's going to be said. You just don't. You just don't. But you're okay. Your wife probably wonders what the hell is he listening to out there, you know? And she probably just sneaks up and puts her ear to the door, and she's like, "Oof, I don't know. I don't know about my husband." And while you're on this show and the other shows, Brian, she's probably talking to a counselor to make sure you're okay. But that's okay. Yeah, Freak does get. Yeah, you guys have. It's not like you say any double meaning words or anything. And it's not like the group reads into it and they laugh, but it's possible that happens. Yeah, I bet she does, Mythos. I bet she does. That's okay, though. I mean, yeah, she's got a sense of humor and she supports you, so that's good. That's what counts right there. A warm up live feed on a daily basis, huh? No one would be safe. That's true, Brian, but people would watch as much as they could. And you're doing a lot more with this, anyways, doing that update on your Roman painting challenge. So um, those are kind of nice too. Yeah, I agree with Mythos. Don't be threatening everybody with a good time, man. Try not to do that because then you'll have to hold up to it. See, there will be people that will go, "Hey, man, Wormut, didn't you say you were going to be on every day? What happened?" And you'll be like, "Oh man, I had to go out and do landscaping today." And people will be like, "But you said every day, man." Then you're going to be, "Well, I had to order more tacos and I can't eat those on camera because I did that to Greg one day during the show and I know it's unfair to put that fresh food there, sir." Yeah, it's we're just messing with you back, Brian. It's hard to do it every day when you work. So I think it's different because Mythos and Freak are independently rich. I think this whole work thing they talk about is just so that we don't feel bad, like to know that they are that wealthy. So otherwise, I think they'd be on every day, but then people would find out that they're wealthy and they have their own income streams coming in. And I don't think Mythos wants that out in the public. So yeah, probably not. That's me. That's why I go to work. Because I just want to know how the poor people do it. It gives me a better perspective. Wait, I am one of those poor people. So it's okay. My perspective is pretty good. But I will show you some of these terrain pieces I've got coming too when they come in. Because it looks like it's going to add a little bit more fun. And I keep saying, people have asked me a few times, and I've got to do, and it's my fault because I keep forgetting, but I've got molds that I made, and I've made terrain out of like sculpted clay, baked it, then I've made molds, and I bought resin, and I've cast molds. And so I've made my own terrain. And I've got to show you guys. To do that, what I got to do is like clear off the table and just do a little live and show you that, because it's easier to explain it, and especially when you resin cast stuff. It's there's a few little tricks to it, but I made enough that I can play my own stuff with and come out nice. So the problem is the cost involved. The resin's not so expensive as it is the mold. Mold making is where it gets to be a pain. Yes, I agree with you, Minnie. Format. We all wish we were Mythos rich. I think it's just underneath Clint rich. Clint just doesn't tell you the kind of money he has, So Mythos is probably right there too. You never know. But yeah, you get the Romans done when you warm up, and then we can do a game or something and finish up your challenge you're doing, because that's going pretty well for you. And my challenge is just to finish off my stuff, which is getting there. And one day I will get off of work and I will not be bothered, and I will not have all this insanity, and that'll work for me. But yeah. So for right now, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, just because it's heading towards dinner time, and tonight I've got to get some things thrown in the oven to cook for dinner, which I haven't done yet. It's going to take a little bit, and we'll kind of leave it where it's at here. But thank you for showing up, Mythos and Brian and Taylor and Superfly and all the rest of you. I don't know about Keegan, but I guess I'll say thanks to Keegan. He's out walking the dogs. But I'm glad you guys stopped by. And thanks, you guys, for all the support. It's okay, Mythos, for showing up late. It's all right, man. I mean, sometimes I show up late on your guys' show, too. So it's all good. I appreciate all the support you guys have given me. And you're always there. And it means a lot. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And I will catch you next week. And Mini Warmut, we'll get that going next month. A couple of Western games. I'll catch up with you guys later. Have fun.